It's a very good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our main news bulletin. Let's take a look at the top stories making headlines in our news. Police arrest Socialist Party leader Fred Membe for assault. ZRA reveals that only 7 mines out of 2,400 are complying in paying taxes. Poor state of the KATUNDA-TATE YOYO road in Western Province annoys road users. And in international news, power cuts in Niger threaten to spoil millions of vaccines as sanctions take their toll. And in sports news, 2012 AFCON winner CHISAMBA LUNGU joins ATHLETICO LUSAKA FC. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Do join me with the details shortly.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now the news in detail. The Lusaka High Court will hear on Wednesday the habeas corpus plea filed by 4 foreigners involved in the alleged gold scam, challenging their continued incarceration and seeking their immediate release from custody. Judge Ruth Chibabuka has granted the ex parte summons to hear habeas corpus filed by the 4 applicants, namely from Nevis, Egypt, Spain, and Dutch. The 4 have lamented that they have been incarcerated for more than 72 hours without being arrested, charged, or brought before a court of competent jurisdiction.
The Lusaka High Court will tomorrow, Wednesday, the 23rd of August 2023, hear an application for habeas corpus for incarcerated 4 foreign nationals accused of being involved in the ongoing gold scam. The 4 applicants, namely Ali Abudou Saif, a resident of Egypt, Cairo; Noha Salaheddin, an Egyptian national; David de la Cruz, a Spanish national; Teonis de Moinge, a Dutch national, have been granted the ex parte summons to hear habeas corpus. The 4 were recently arrested together with businessman Shadrick Kasanda, Jim Belem, Daingamo Oswald, Patrick Kawanu, a pilot, in connection with the alleged gold scam involving $5.7 million United States dollars, which was intercepted by the Drug Enforcement Commission at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport last week Monday. The 4 have rushed to the High Court seeking to compel the authorities to bring them before the court of law on account that they have been incarcerated for more than 72 hours without being arrested, charged, or brought before a court of competent jurisdiction. According to an affidavit filed before court, it states that attempts to have them taken to court have been futile, as the Drug Enforcement Commission, through its officers, insists that they remain in police custody. The court documents have further revealed that the 4 suspects are currently at Charleston Police Station, where they remain detained. The 4 have submitted before the court that their constitutional right has been breached and will continue to be infringed due to the unlawful detention they have been subjected to. They say they neither have a relation in Zambia nor anyone who can offer them solidarity or provide them with essential necessities during their unlawful detention, hence request for their immediate release. They are now pleading with the court to order for their release after hearing their habeas corpus tomorrow. A writ of habeas corpus is a court document to a person or agents holding someone in custody to deliver the imprisoned individual to the court issuing the order and to show a valid reason for that person's detention. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriots for Economic Progress leader Sean Tembo has told the Constitutional Court that Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has so far spent approximately 2.8 billion kwacha on his foreign trips that have so far not borne any tangible benefits to the nation. Mr. Tembo has filed a petition seeking a declaration that the increased presidential trips amounts to prudent and responsible use of public resources. He submits that the increased presidential trips undertaken are illegal, unconstitutional, and a breach of trust which the people of Zambia bestowed on him. Details in this report.
Following repeated claims in the public that Republican President Hakainde Hichilema travels too frequently, Patriots for Economic Progress leader Sean Tembo has decided to take the matter a bit further by rushing to the Constitutional Court on the basis that the said foreign trips amount to imprudent and irresponsible use of public resources. Mr. Tembo has indicated in his petition that the increased presidential international trips come at a huge cost to the national treasure. He wants the Constitutional Court to declare that the frequent trips are illegal, unconstitutional, as billions of taxpayers' money is used, and so far the said trips have not in any way produced any tangible benefit to the nation. His argument is that Article 198D has read together with Article 198B3 and 173(1)B of the Constitution provides that public resources must be used prudently, efficiently, effective, and in a responsible manner, premised on the realization that Zambia is a developing nation with multiple socio-economic needs for the people. He has submitted that his estimated average cost per single presidential foreign trip is 57 million kwacha, taking into account the cost of transportation, lodging, meals, and allowances. He claims the president has so far spent approximately 2.8 billion kwacha on his foreign trips. Mr. Tembo tells court that despite criticizing his foreign trips, the head of state has neglected and ignored his Zambian's foreign mission abroad to take basic functions such as marketing the country in foreign territories. In his petition, the opposition leader cited the Attorney General as the respondent. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Police in Lusaka have Tuesday arrested and charged Socialist Party leader Fred Membe for the offense of acts intended to cause grievous bodily harm, contrary to Section 224 of the Penal Code Act, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. Police spokesperson Ray Habonga says Dr. Fred Membe has further been jointly arrested and charged with Daniel Mumba, aged 44, of Chamboli in Kitwe, for 2 counts of assault, occasioning actual bodily harm contrary to the laws of Zambia. Brief facts of the matter are that in the first count, it is alleged that Dr. Membe on April 8, 2023, between 14 hours and 18:45 hours at 4 Ways, Kamilamba at Mulilima area in Serenje district of the Central Province, with intent to maim, did shoot at Emmanuel Simposia using a firearm pistol, causing him to sustain injuries on the head. In the second count, Mr. Membe, acting with Daniel Mumba and other persons unknown, did assault Mr. Simposia, thereby occasioning an actually bodily harm on him. And speaking shortly when he arrived at the police station, Dr. Membe questioned the intentions of the police when they barred his sympathizers from offering solidarity. Here's a report.
Barely 2 weeks when opposition Socialist Party President Dr. Fred Membe spent a night at Woodlands Police Station for the offense of libel and alleged attempt to breach the country's security, Tuesday, 22nd August 2023, Dr. Membe appeared before Ibex Hill Police Station for questioning on allegations of assault, occasioning actual bodily harm when he allegedly fired a gun to displace alleged unruly UPND cadres on 8th April 2023 during a by-election campaign in Muchinda Ward in Serenje. He arrived at exactly 9:50 before the police, and his interactions with the media after being blocked, the opposition leader questioned the logic behind his summon. Dr. Membe alleges that the country's democracy space is slowly shrinking.
Mr. Kainde used to come with people to the police station when he was being arrested. They want me to come alone. What Zambia are we trying to create? What Zambia are we trying to create? Where I should come to the police station in secrecy. What are they trying to hide from the Zambian people? Is this the democracy they are talking about? The Kainde way? This is not the Zambia we fought for. This country is not going to be good for any of us if it's not good for all of us. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
While the questioning was on, which lasted for over 2 hours, Socialist Party Secretary General Cosmas Msumali alleges that Dr. Membe will be transferred to Serenje as per the plan of the law enforcers. Mr. Msumali wonders why a case that is before the court has been unearthed on the opposition leader.
The person that we have interrogated here and received from him a second statement over one issue. The answer is very simple. You want to make life as difficult as possible for that person. You want to exert high levels of cruelty to this individual. That's what this issue is all about. And we condemn it. We condemn it so severely because this is brutality. This is unacceptable in a democratic country. The police, unfortunately, have their hands tied. They are tied in the sense that these instructions are not coming from just the police command. These are coming from State House. Whatever happens to Freddie Membe, all the difficulties that he's going through now, it's not just a police issue. It is HH at work.
Meanwhile, some opposition leaders from the Opposition Patriotic Front were blocked as they attempted to offer solidarity to Dr. Membe.
One day, ababantu mulese ndalukulu, flamu twele kukasama, ba Fred mulefo kubatwala kusele, kukaba accident umwana wabe nakafa chikamibibila. The blood of whoever will be involved in an accident, God forbid.
That picked the leaders, locked them up, and in the night transported them either to Kasama, Chinsali, or Lukulu, or Solwezi. Why doesn't the police in those areas of jurisdictions issue the call-out?
And police spokesperson Ray Hamonga confirmed the detention of the opposition leader.
The facts of the matter are that in the first count, it's alleged that Dr. Freddie Membe on the 8th of April 2023, around 14 and 18:45 hours at Four Ways, Kamilamba at Milima area in Serenje district of the Central Province of the Republic of Zambia, with intent to maim, disfigure or disable or do some grievous harm, did shoot at Emmanuel Simposia using a firearm pistol bearing serial number A7988CZ97B, causing him to sustain injuries on the head. The two accused persons have been detained in police custody and will appear in court.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Citizens Face Party President Harry Kalaba has challenged President Hakainde Hichilema to come out in open and condemn the harassment of his predecessor Edgar Lungu in Eastern Province if he really means what he says. Mr. Kalaba says if President Hichilema-led UPND does not respect Mr. Lungu, they should at least respect traditional ceremonies. On Saturday, 19th August, while attending Malaila traditional ceremony of the Kunda-speaking people in Mambo district at the invitation of Senior Chief Nsefu, Mr. Lungu was allegedly harassed by cadres believed to be from the UPND who demanded that he leaves the ceremony.
The UPND must be ashamed of itself, because the very things they were condemning are the very things they are promoting. If our president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is saying that he doesn't approve the behavior of cadres, why hasn't anybody been arrested? It's because the president doesn't condemn that because he is the one who's supporting actions like that. The president is so hypocritical that he can send people to go and harass his colleague, the former president. It doesn't matter what he did, even if you don't appreciate what he did. But just to send people to go and harass him is wrong. It is wrong. And if the president has also seen that it is wrong, let him condemn it. Have you heard him condemn it? No. The president is quiet. Why is he quiet? Because he's the one who sent them. We know those politics of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. He's the one who sent them, and now he behaves quietly. That's not the way things should be. Traditional ceremonies must be respected. Traditional ceremonies must be respected. Even if you didn't like the former president, just respect the ceremonies attending. But even that, they were ready to go and just disrupt that ceremony. It is wrong, and this should never happen again in the history of this country. Let us have order.
Social media vlogger Simon Chitambala has lamented the continued instance of suspected United Party for National Development UPND cadres to take over the alley behind Simon Mwewa Lane. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Chitambala has described the situation as unfortunate as it is taking place under the eye of authorities. Recently, Mr. Chitambala claimed to have received death threats from suspected cadres after a confrontation on their plans to erect structures in the alley behind Simon Building.
Suspected political party cadres have continued to intimidate businesses operating along the Simon Mwewa Lane to coerce them to surrender the alley behind Simpson Building in Lusaka. Last month, police had to move in to stop a fracas, which ensued after an attempt by the cadres to allocate trading places to displaced vendors in the alley turned violent. After weeks of quietness, the cadres have resurfaced, threatening violence to anyone coming in their way. One of the many opposers of the cadres, Simpson Building proprietor and vlogger Simon Chitambala, says business operators are being urged to stop using the alley by the suspected non-UPND cadres.
Alleyways in any business, in any city, an alleyway only serves two purposes. Number one is to offload goods. Number two, it's a service point, a service alley to collect garbage. Those are the only two reasons an alley exists. But what's happening now is that these chaps are actually building structures that they do not have permission from Lusaka City Council to build. They don't have permission.
Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Chitambala says businessmen in the area are operating in fear as authorities remain mute over the matter.
The cadres are not going to be concerned about collecting garbage. They've even actually told us and many other businesses that from now on, look for somewhere else to throw your garbage. This alleyway has been taken over by us, meaning the cadres, and they've instructed all the business houses, look for somewhere else to dispose of your garbage.
However, Kanyama Member of Parliament Monty Chinkuli, when queried over the matter last month, distanced the party from the individuals.
It is something that should not be condoned. That is very sad, actually. And if the party structure, of which I believe is not aware, it's just people who wanted to do whatever.
Regardless, the persistence by the suspected cadres to occupy the area leaves such sentiments in question. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Some road users have raised concern on the state of the KATUNDA-TATE YOYO road in Western Province. Some of the road users tell Camnet News that the current state of the road poses a danger to the travelers. A road user, Royd Maninga, has appealed to government to expedite the works on the road rather than patching the road with gravel. Meanwhile, Road Development Agency Regional Manager Paul Habasimbi has assured people that the works being done are just temporal as major works will commence in 2024.
Mungu District Hospital mortuary was constructed in 2017 as a component at the new district hospital in Mungu District of Western Province. The residents tells Camnet News in Mungu that they are now ferrying their deceased beloved ones to Lewanika General Hospital mortuary when death occur. A resident of Mbuyana compound in Mubita Monde calls on government through the Ministry of Health to source for funds and complete the installation of a mortuary unit at the new Mungu District Hospital.
This hospital from 2017.
We sincerely apologize for the mix-up with the stories. In other news, the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has submitted that out of over 2,400 mines registered in the country, only 7 are remitting their taxes, accounting for 80% of revenue being collected from the mining sector. Speaking at the town hall meeting in Lusaka on Tuesday, ZRA Commissioner General Dingani Banda says it is disappointing to note that only few taxpayers are contributing to revenue generation for the country. Mr. Banda, however, says the Commission is putting in place mechanisms that will ensure that all the mining sectors companies begin to pay taxes. And extractive industry representative Sictas Mulenga has questioned why Zambia is not doing explorations for oil and gas despite having similar geographical settings as those countries with gas and oil. Mr. Mulenga has since proposed to the Zambian government to consider reducing its free carrier from the current 35% to 10%. Meanwhile, Secretary to the Treasury Felix Nkulukusa says Zambia will next month be meeting with private next creditors to reach an agreement on the terms of the country's debt.
The Ministry of Finance in Zambia has held its town hall forum on the 2023 mid-year economic performance and the 2024 to 2026 midterm budget plan in Lusaka. Zambia Revenue Authority Commissioner General Dingani Banda, who made a presentation at the meeting, has revealed that out of the over 2,400 mines registered in the country, only 7 have been fully complying in the payment of taxes, which currently accounts for 80% of revenue being generated from the mining sector.
So you can see just a few taxpayers accounting for the larger proportion of the revenue that we collect. I can focus on the controversial topic that we always have, the mining sector. You can see that the 34% that was the mining sector contributed, 80% of that only came from 7 mines. So we have over 2,400 mines on our tax register, but 80% of that only came from 7 mines. So that's the area that we need to focus on more in terms of driving compliance further.
And Finance Minister Dr. Situmbe Komsokotwane, who spoke at the same meeting, says it is disappointing that only few individuals are paying taxes in the country and says government will mandate all the sale of precious metals such as gold, manganese, sugilite, and diamond produced by artisanal miners to an aggregator appointed by the government to allow for the effective accountability of sales proceeds as well as tax revenue.
Less than 800 taxpayers provide 80% of the tax revenues. The rest of us, we want good roads, we want water, we want electricity all the time. We want to be educated, but we are all pointing fingers at only less than 800 people.
Meanwhile, Secretary to the Treasury Felix Nkulukusa says Zambia will next month be meeting with the private creditors to sign an agreement on the country's debt owed to them.
And we have had preparations and we'll be meeting most of the private creditors in the month of September to try and reach agreement on the terms as established in the MOU that will be signing with the official creditors.
Meanwhile, various institutions have also made their submissions to the ministry, among them the extractive sector, which has wondered why Zambia is not making explorations in oil and gas despite the geographical condition being similar to those countries with oil and gas.
The geological setting in Zambia is similar to our neighboring countries who are producing oil and gas. But you may be wondering, why are we not exploring? Because in Zambia, we have the Rift Valley extension where oil has been found. We have the Atlantic sub-basin where oil has been found, but nothing. The reason for that is we have investment framework which we still need to work on.
Zambia is in the process of finalizing the formulation of the 2024 national budget, with many stakeholders remaining optimistic that the government will put into consideration some of the submissions that have been made so far. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Some road users have raised concern on the state of the KATUNDA-TATE YOYO road in Western Province. Some of the road users tell Camnet News that the current state of the road poses a danger to the travelers. A road user, Royd Manenga, has appealed to government to expedite the works on the road rather than patching the road with gravel. Meanwhile, Road Development Agency Regional Manager Paul Habasimbi has assured people that the works being done are just temporal, as major works will commence in 2024. Here's a report.
Quality and safe road guarantees the timely delivering of goods and services, but for many years the road stretch from KATUNDA-TATE in Kauma district has been neglected. And speaking to Camnet News, Roy Manenga appeals to government to expedite works on the damaged road.
But looking at the way it is now, it is very bad. So we just want to appeal to the government and also the council to consider this road so that at least they can work on it. Otherwise, this is very bad. You know, as a citizen, looking at the way it is now, it is very bad. It's very
Other road users spoken to laminated that punching of the road is a waste of national resources.
No vote is development. We need one Western province mood says development. Kono kwa ma provinces ama mikwa kwa wabereka MP ma considers. CDF na yo ampalezo kuba mwaka ampalezo kufama road. Amu ikutise kwa mkwa lusebe musebeze fa mkwa. Kwa kabuli ki death trap. Mutu akula ya kwa spatera konji 3 hours onako kwa kazi chokoto kolos. Abamu isa kwa spatera ko. Kima potholes mwanzira ma potholes mwanza fakula ayo fita kwa mutu wako na kushira mwanzira. Kono government yona ayo yule skuli. What is the government doing? Can you wake up, Western Province?
Kuyakulusako kuba simbu yoshe tutuna kumwana kayando. Likungulika so banika kuyana kuko hozola likawe bana kutuna yalikawe likungulika bene. Tutu mwanangu tuwatupangira mikwa kwa kumaniwa batune yana likungulya kuba bala kuno.
Futi kama dezi ya kumbuyo pacha patrist pembele chenga nukuikonza tupangie koche damaki accident kapena ngasire.
Meanwhile, Road Development Agency Western Province Regional Manager Paul Habasimbi disclosed that works being done are temporal and further assured the people that major works are expected to commence in 2024.
So the designs for this stretch of the road has actually been completed. Now we are in a phase where we need now to procure a contractor, and the procurement process is expected to commence sometime in the year 2024. So for now, we will continue with the maintenance works under the regional office where we do the patching to make the road motorable. And we are hopeful that by the end of this year, we should have also completed the issues to do with the procurement.
The Road Development Act number 12 of 2002 mandates the Road Development Agency RDA to provide the care, maintenance and the construction of public roads in Zambia. Mose Wakabia reporting for Camnet News in Mongo, Western Province.
Former Commerce and Industry Minister Bob Sichinga has appealed to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank to stop contributing to the country's problems. Speaking when he made his submission to the Minister of Finance at the town hall meeting, Mr. Sichinga says the country should be given room to determine how to spend its resources to cushion some economic shocks. But International Monetary Fund, IMF resident representative Preya Sharma says Zambia has performed well under the fund-supported program. Ms. Sharma says the country has met all the quantitative targets and has met 9 of the reform targets.
Specific steps towards these 3 overall headline objectives that have been taken so far include decisive measures to cut inefficient public spending, such as fuel subsidies, and create space for increased social spending and investment in human capital. This includes freeing resources to provide free education for all and to hire 41,000 additional healthcare workers and teachers.
IMF, you are part of the problem. IMF. And I'm not a diplomat, so I will not be polite to you. You are part of the problem. There is no way you can expect that an SME is going to borrow at 26% and it will survive. is dead from the beginning. So in your policies and your demands from the government, yes, you should demand discipline. Yes, there should be no politicization. Yes, there should be no corruption. Yes, we do a lot of things wrong ourselves, and yes, we need to sort those out as Zambians. But your own institution has been part of the problem all along, together with your colleagues at the World Bank. You come for 5 years, this program is for 5 years, after 5 years you walk away. No development takes place in 5 years. It doesn't. So we want you to change your approach to this, and you should listen to us. We are equally educated, just like you guys at IMF and World Bank.
President Hakainde Hichilema has called on citizens of Zimbabwe to exercise their constitutional rights and enhance democracy by voting in the Wednesday general elections. In his new capacity as chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security operations, President Hichilema has wished the people of Zimbabwe a peaceful and orderly electoral process as they choose their president, members of parliament, and councillors on Wednesday this week. In a statement issued Tuesday by the SADC Secretariat, President Hichilema says elections are a crucial phase in governance and they enhance regional, economic, political, and social development. He has encouraged Zimbabweans to stay calm before the announcement of the election outcome. President Hichilema says SADC regularly deploys its electoral observation mission to its member states who conduct national elections. The SADC Election Observer Mission in Zimbabwe is being led by former Vice President Nevas Mumba. We now take our first set of commercials. Do join me with more news after this break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process, Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you for staying with us. We now continue with the rest of the news. Economist Yusuf Dodia has described United Party for National Development, UPND's economic performance in its 2 years in government as fair. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Dodia says the clinching of the International Monetary Fund IMF debt restructuring deal and the enacting of the Public Debt Management Bill into law stands out among the notable achievements. Mr. Dodia, however, notes that the country's failure to realize maximum benefits from the mining sector due to lack of capacity to track production remain a challenge beyond 2021.
On the 24th of August 2021, the United Party for National Development, UPND party, officially took over government after elections of the 12th earlier in that month. After coming on the backdrop of promise of turning around the economic fortunes of the country, the party has since implemented a number of measures and policies. Reflecting on the party's economic performance about 2 years in government, economist Yusuf Dodia says the enacting of the Public Debt Management Act of 2022 is one of the key achievements as it will limit borrowing which the country is grappling with.
We have done well is that in the last 2 years we have managed to pass the Public Debt Management Bill into an act. And now we have the Public Debt Management Act, which compels government to seek approval from Parliament before taking on debt. And this is a very good mechanism for ensuring that we don't take frivolous debt.
Mr. Dodia has however bemoaned the continued failure to grow the domestic economy, characterized by the lack of control in the mining sector.
Undermining the development of our nation to the extent that even if we increase copper production to 3 million metric tons, we're not going to benefit much from it. We're going to move from $360 million to maybe $1 billion, but losing as much as 20 to 30 billion dollars in, would I say, capital that could really develop our economy in a very positive direction.
Meanwhile, Mr. Dodia has urged government to seek an active participation in the ongoing BRICS summit in South Africa, which he says poses an alternative to the existing global financial order where Zambia has benefited less.
Liberating Africa, the global south, from dominance from the global north and the global west, which for many reasons is not equitable.
For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
By-Zaid campaign founder Evans Ngoma has encouraged government to take advantage of the huge yields of cotton to revamp the country's textile industry. Since the Mulungushi textile ceased operations in 2007, Zambia has been exporting raw cotton wool and later imports finished products. Mr. Ngoma says all that is needed is to find a serious investor, noting that the country already has the raw materials readily available. More in this report.
Zambia produces about 55,000 metric tons of raw cotton each year. After processing, the country exports most of its raw lint without adding any value to the fiber and imports most of its products, such as earbuds and swabs. This undoubtedly robs the country's entrepreneurs of the business opportunities created by adding value to the raw lint. By-Zaid campaign founder Evans Ngoma is concerned that the textile industry in the country is dominated by imported goods.
You would agree with me that every cloth that we are putting on today is not made in Zambia, and so that is a total loss in terms of economic gains. But we feel that as a country, we have not lost it all. We can come back and then investors in the textile sector.
Mr. Ngoma says government must take advantage of the huge yields of cotton to revamp the country's textile industry.
We are on record as a country as being one of the major producers of very high quality cotton, especially in the Eastern Province, Southern Province, a part of Western Province, and then also Central. So now the agricultural value chain quite significantly in also trying to rebuild our economy.
Meanwhile, economist Kelvin Chisanga says there's need to put in place policies that will restrict the importation of second-hand clothes, commonly known as salaula, if the textile industry is to flourish.
The market is flooded with the good second-hand clothes and few other clothes that are being imported into the nation. If we work around the policy instruments to restrict and impose a very, relatively good, substantial policy to let the industry flourish, I think that can help. We need to have a very strong investment drive around textile industry. We haven't had even an opportunity to find a way we can make cotton to a point whereby we need also to make sure that we use it as well for medical stuff. The more we look at a strong drive or energy around key policies of revamping some of these sectors, it will be ideal for us to see of the industries will automatically come into play.
Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Zamtel Acting Chief Executive Officer Jason Mwanza has called on Zambians to consider local communication products as priority for the country's development. Speaking during the signing ceremony for the Zanaco-Zamtel Green Shop Partnership, Mr. Mwanza says prioritizing local products is key in fostering economic development. And Zanaco Chief Executive Officer Mukwandi Chiwesakunda underscores the need to have homegrown solutions that respond to the needs of the citizens. Details in this report.
In a quest to ensure improved service delivery to the people with the inception of digital transactions, Zamtel and Zanaco Bank have signed a Zanaco-Zamtel Green Shop partnership which will enable consumers to access the services of the two companies. While the quest to provide full-fledged communication to all parts of the country is government's agenda, Zamtel Acting CEO Jason Mwanza underscores the need for Zambians to take pride in the local product in order to create synergies that promote economic development of the country. Mr. Mwanza says while Zamtel is focusing on improving its service delivery, it is also important for citizens to begin to buy into the local solutions that come with such partnerships.
Zamtel sits in a position that will help government to deliver that mandate. Are we going to deliver this mandate as we make losses? No. Are we delivering the mandate and beg the Zambian people to come home so that you get bad service? No. We are working tirelessly to make sure that the services that we bring to the Zambian people are fit for purpose. What we ask in return is a Zambian to believe in their local product, and once the Zambians that are fortunate believe in Zamtel, Zamtel will grow and will help the government to take communication to the have-not.
And Zanaco CEO Mukwandi Chiwesakunda underscores the need for Zambians to adopt homegrown solutions that address various financial challenges in the country.
We have assessed that about 10 lives are sustained in Zambia for each agency. So this has impact on the Zambian community. In addition to this initiative, we're considering further expanding our express in-store model in Zamtel service centers outside Lusaka, as well as enhancement of our mobile banking offering through prospective initiatives that should see the introduction of direct data. We look forward to more such initiatives, and we welcome everyone home to Zambia today.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
In other news, Lumezi Town Council has called on the government to consider increasing the local government equalization fund allocation to councils in view of the restructured organization structures. Council Chairperson Oliver Mwale says the appropriate organization restructuring for town councils is likely to increase in the local government equalization fund allocation. Mr. Mwale says while salaries for council employees have been increased, the local government equalization fund has remained unchanged, thereby posing a risk of failures for timely payment of salaries, especially in view of organization restructuring that will see new staff and elevation of salary scales. Meanwhile, Local Government Service Commission Deputy Secretary in charge of Corporate Services and Administration, Corinne Mvula, says the Commission is undertaking a staff audit exercise in order to ensure that councils have qualified personnel. The trio were speaking during a courtesy call meeting.
Our salaries and can confidently say we are up to date with the payment of emoluments to all our members of staff. However, we have challenges at the time salaries for our staff were increased. The local government equalization fund remained unchanged. As such, if the commission will send firefighters and the district A's coordinating advisor to Rumez, we will learn on the negatives.
So as a commission that is charged with the responsibility of ensuring that we have the right resources, we are on our ground. We are on the ground in the province to see to it that our staff records are properly managed. One of the key objectives of our visit here, Chair, is to ensure that our records within the local authorities are properly managed and they are properly recorded, so that it helps the Commission to make the right decisions when we are placing the officers in the right positions.
Still to come in the news, power cuts in Niger threaten to spoil millions of vaccines as sanctions take their toll. I will be back with the details after this break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you for staying with us. And now in international news, the United Nations is spending over 20 times more money than usual on fuel for generators to keep millions of vaccines in Niger from spoiling due to incessant power cuts. The outages are the result of severe economic and travel sanctions imposed by regional countries after mutitious soldiers toppled the country's president last month. Country representative for the United Nations Children's Fund in Niger, Stefano Savi, said it has spent $200 million powering generators to keep vaccines, including for polio and rotavirus, across the country code during the first 3 weeks of August. Niger relies on neighboring countries for up to 90% of its power, but after soldiers outstained democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum in July, Nigeria cut off part of its electricity supply as part of sanctions imposed by the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS. Here's a roundup of international news.
Nicknamed the Crocodile in Zimbabwe, 80-year-old Emerson Mnangagwa, who succeeded strongman Robert Mugabe in a coup, has earned a reputation also as a strong leader. His detractors accuse him of having implemented a repression of the opposition for months in a context of hyperinflation and a stricken economy. But Mnangagwa is not new to controversy and crisis. First, he became head of state at the end of a war of succession with the powerful Grace Mugabe, the wife of former President Robert Mugabe. The showdown between the rivals initially ended with a dismissal of Mnangagwa from the post of vice president. Fearing for his life, he fled to Mozambique. But in a few weeks, the situation reversed with the generals taking power and appointing him. The following year, Mnangagwa, amid disputes by the opposition, won the presidential election with 50.8%. This Wednesday, he would be hoping to clinch a second 5-year term by defeating at the polls top contender Nelson Chamisa, a 45-year-old pastor, promising a new dawn if elected president. The crowd is huge and they are branding the color yellow. This group of supporters are urging top opposition leader Nelson Chamisa on. Zimbabwe's crucial elections takes place this Wednesday, August 23.
Issues in terms of the two candidates, what I've picked up, they are also talking about the economic recovery of Zimbabwe. But Chamisa speaks about social justice and democratic governance. But when you go to the ruling party, they are talking about tackling corruption, they are talking about investment, infrastructure, and also they are also talking about economic recovery, as I said, in terms of job creation. So one looks at these elections as if it's a turf around reclaiming Zimbabwe's economic glory, but at the same time tackling the social issues.
This campaign poster has President Emerson Mnangagwa of the ruling ZANU-PF party. The 80-year-old is vying for a second term in office at the polls.
The nature of elections in Africa and liberation movements is that liberation movements have a monopoly. They know how to manipulate electoral processes, and not only manipulate, probably their campaign strategies, their manifestos, talks to their electorate, and that's what also brings them back into power. But we always say, let's allow the final vote counting and the final declaration by Zimbabwean Electoral Commission that who has won the election.
Wednesday's combined presidential, parliamentary and local elections come amid concern from the opposition about voter intimidation and security.
The United Nations is spending more than 20 times as much money on fuel for generators to keep millions of vaccines in Niger from spoiling due to power cuts, a consequence of severe economic and travel sanctions imposed by regional countries after mutinous soldiers toppled its president last month. Now there are growing concerns of the consequences it will have on the health system. Each week, we can say that there are around 100 or more. Sometimes we have 60, 80, 40, 30 children per day. If you had come Thursday, there were a lot more emergencies in comparison to other days. Most of Niger's roughly 1,300 local health centers are powered by solar panels and able to keep the vaccines cold. But in the capital and at the regional and district levels, rely on electricity and now generators.
Le vaccin contre la rougeole
If it continues, that means we will run out of gasoline and this cold chamber will no longer get electricity. And all these vaccines, which are worth billions of francs CFA, might get lost. That is our main problem. The sanctions are taking a toll on the population with the price of food rising, residents unable to easily access cash and people living in the dark. Now there's a growing concern of the consequences it will have on health system, particularly the ability to keep some 28 million vaccine doses in the country cold.
And now in sports news, Atletico Lusaka has announced the appointment of 2012 AFCON winner CHISAMBA LUNGU in the dual role of coach-player. LUNGU will hold the dual responsibilities of nurturing young players and coaching emerging midfielders. He previously played for Zanaco, Nkana, Budkon, Nkwazi, Dynamo Zugdid in Georgia, Ura in Russia, and Alansiap in Turkey. Chisamba was a vital member of the Hervé Renard-coached Chipolo Polo side that won AFCON in 2012, co-hosted by Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. He joins a distinguished team that includes Miguel Martinez, Brian Kusanama, William Njovu, and Emmanuel Mayuka. That item brings us to the end of our news, but before I go, let's take a look at the stories making headlines. Police arrest a Socialist Party leader, Fred Membe, for assault. ZRA reviews that only 7 mines out of 2,400 are complying in paying taxes. Poor state of the KATUNDA-TATE YOYO road in Western Province annoys road users. In international news, power cuts in Niger threaten to spoil millions of vaccines as sanctions take their toll. And in sports news, 2012 AFCON winner CHISAMBA LUNGU joins ATHLETICO LUSAKA FC. And it's now time for our Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of John 8, verse 31. To the Jews who had believed him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples." My name is Sylvia Zulu. On behalf of the entire Camnet TV news production crew, thank you so much for watching. Good night.